Okay, we're live. Are we live?
Yes.
We are live. Hello and welcome. Welcome, everybody. It's Karen Swain here with the fabulous Zane Daniel and introducing Nicolas Perrin, who is the new Australian co-host for the next Higher Self Expo. Hey, Nick.
Lovely to be with you all. Thank you so much.
Woohoo!
Wonderful to have you.
Very excited to participate.
So Zane has just given us a tech lesson on how to use StreamYard. And I have to say, very cool platform, very impressed. And so hopefully we'll remember everything we need to do.
For upcoming speakers, yeah. And I love to start these off with kind of a little bit of an introduction of what the Higher Self Expo is, just in case somebody's tuning in and going, what are we doing right now? So, this is our fourth online-only metaphysical conference called the Higher Self Expo. Really just started it just over a year ago, thanks to COVID. And this time it's going to be a 24 straight hour event for our very first time. And we think that maybe nobody else has done 24 straight hours for this sort of thing before. But our two hosts that are with us today are from the Australian leg of the journey around the world. And so it starts off in the US on July 17th, and then it goes to Australia for 8 hours, for another 8 hours on July 18th, and then it ends in Europe for another 8 hours. So, and we're looking at like 35 speakers or something at this point. So we've got definitely a lot going on. And then we have our theme, which is where science meets spirituality, which is, each time we do this, it's a new theme. And I really like this one because I always like to say that spirituality is just science that science hasn't figured out yet. So let's see how far along science has come with figuring out spirituality.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you there. I think that science and spirituality is one topic, but for so many years, or maybe it's just been since the Industrial Revolution, science has sort of called anyone that channels or speaks to dead people or, is intuitive or psychic. They've called us woo-woo and put us in a completely separate box and said, it's not scientific. You can't prove it. You can't measure it with a ruler. Therefore, it doesn't exist. But that is changing. I was just saying to Zane before we were doing all this, it's amazing that here he is on the other side of the world. Like Nicolas is up the road from me in Sydney. I think you're in Sydney at the moment, Nicolas. And Zane's where are you at the moment, Zane?
Oh, I'm actually in, I always have to think about it for a second because I travel around so much. I'm in Portland, Oregon right now.
And we are speaking in real time, like the fact that information is flying through the air and landing at the same time it's miraculous, really. And it's scientific and it's also woo-woo. So science is woo-woo these days with all our technology. Yeah, it's really one topic. So there are some amazing speakers. And Nicolas is one of our speakers. And so we're going to have a chat with Nick today about who he is. He's going to introduce himself, not just as the co-host, but as one of our speakers and give us an insight into what he's going to speak about. So should we kick Zane off?
Yeah, kick me off. Who needs me anymore? I want to hear from Nick. So let's do this.
All right. Big love. Thank you.
Thanks, Zane. Thanks for joining us.
So, Nicolas, tell us a little bit about yourself. Please introduce yourself to the Higher Self Expo audience.
Yeah, so lovely to connect with you all today. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Zane, and everyone that is joining us live and also later on. So my name's Nicolas Perrin, and really excited to be sharing, as I've got a little bit of science and spirituality and sound stopping in here live.
They're renovating next door. They're renovating next door. Please excuse the renovations next door. Keep going. Sorry, darling. Keep going.
Yeah, no worries. We're just going to have to be with the present moment and just move through it. So was in the corporate world for the first part of my life, and then ended up transitioning out of the corporate world when, again, that really strong intuitive inner pulse really said to me, there's something else that's for me that is more aligned to why I'm here on the planet. So intuition, even though maybe it is a bit woo-woo, for me, it was incredibly tangible and incredibly grounded, and it actually changed the trajectory of my life. And over the last 9 years, I've been doing a lot of transformational work, helping people transform negative energies, helping them align to their higher selves, become more intuitively guided in their life, and understand how to actually read intuition and the subtle energy forms. That is part of reality, but it's not necessarily so accessible through the 5 human senses always. Taking people on journeys of really understanding, how to shift their mindsets, how to purify the mind, and really tapping into our multidimensional nature. But what's been really kind of important for me has been, how do we ground that in a very practical and real way? How do we create from that? How do we actually express the invisible, the intangible, into the actual tangible and manifested? And that's what I've really been supporting people over the last 9 years, to really create projects, create something real, create something tangible that they thought was impossible, that they thought wasn't within their scope of capability, and having that beautiful, joyful, innocent, miraculous surprise of, wow, isn't life incredible? Going beyond what I thought was possible.
Absolutely. And these are the perils of going live. People next door are renovating. So I'm sure everyone is like, thank you for your patience. But
it's unexpected, right?
It's unexpected. Look, it's in the moment. It's authentic. It's life. What can you do? Okay. So what are you going to be speaking about at the Higher Self Expo? What's your topic? And
so what I'm going, it's going to be more of a practical experience, because I'm aware that a lot of people are going to be more lecture style. And what I really felt would be really useful for people is, how do we connect to the morphic fields of resonance, which is very scientific, and but how do we actually energetically align ourselves with these morphic fields through symbols and other ways that I'll be sharing in the actual presentation, to actually shift our reality, or to bring in new realities, or to transform things in our reality that no longer serve us. So it really is a merging of science and spirituality. It will be a practical experience. And of course, there's going to be a group resonance as you have multiple people live on the call, but also people that watch in later on. We'll cater for all of it, and there will be a group field that will be created, and we'll work with that group field and bring in goodness and transformation and change for people there, but also for the collective, because ultimately part of what this conference is all about is, how can we create a better world for everyone on this planet, for the future generations as well.
Perfect. Sounds wonderful. It'd be nice to have that interaction too. Hopefully, maybe we can get a couple of questions going. I like to have that interaction. If we're going to be live and people are going to be watching, it's kind of nice to get some input from people to how they're feeling afterwards. Yeah, be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's fun. It's more fun and more in the moment, when there's that interaction.
Like the people renovating next door. Okay, if people can hear you over the drilling from your neighbours.
And it was quiet. By the way, it was quiet before. It just literally just dropped in.
We thought that they'd finished. We thought, nah. He said, "Shall I move outside?" I said, "No, I'll be fine." I was wrong. So where can people find you? What have you got on offer at the moment? You running any courses? What's your website? What says it down there? But just tell people what's going on.
Yeah, so you can connect with me by going to www.lionheartcoaching.com.au. There's a whole host of free resources on the website, how to connect to your soul blueprint, and about 50 different podcast episodes that I've done, which was called Breaking Free from the 9-to-5 Comfort Zone. For people that want to actually work with me on a one-on-one basis, really great for people that want to catalyze their gifts. I'm what's called a soul blueprinter, which means that I create energetic spaces for people to really activate more of who they truly are, beyond human personality, and then from that place to create what it is that you would love to be creating in your life. for yourself, but also, it could be business ventures, projects, things that you want to get out there. What is it that you are here to really contribute to the planet at this time? So I help people on many different levels, at the practical level, but also at the energetic and metaphysical level, for that to actually come into fruition and for them to evolve, because that's really the highest intention. How can I support you to evolve and to live a fulfilling, expanded life that really feels online, on point, and also just in tune and tapped into why you're here at this incredible ascension cycle, 2021 and beyond. So other useful things to be mindful of is I'm also participating in a community called New Magi, Numagi, and that's more like a collective creation, which is really all about the New Earth paradigm. It's all about how people can tap in and co-create and collaborate together and utilizing their gifts, talents, and abilities beyond just themselves. So I'm also involved in that community, and that will be, or is, a medium to long-term project. And I feel it's a really important part of the ascension process, these intentional communities and coming together as individuals in a collective way to amplify our energy and power and be more effective.
Yeah. Fabulous. This is sounding like a great new project. So Nicolas was on my show, Accentuate the Positive, like a week ago, so something like that. So if you want to hear more about Nick's story and his travels overseas, head over to ATP Media and you'll see him there, because we were talking about intentional communities. You traveled the world looking at places like Findhorn and Damanhur. Where else did you go? All different places.
Yes, also to Mira in Portugal. There was a community in Japan called the Honoquin family, Pachamama in Costa Rica, in Anita in Nicaragua, and a whole lot of others. So, yeah, we were talking about the ancient Essene community, which really were a group of mystics that lived, 2,000 sort of years plus ago, that really was holding this ancient knowledge and wisdoms that were kind of hidden from the public view at that time, but was connected to Egypt, India, Scotland, and many other places. And all the ancient masters of the time were kind of in the background working together to try and keep that flame, the flame of humanity, alive. Part of the interview with Karen was just exploring the relevance of those communities and how that has shifted in today's world. Yeah,
it's so interesting, because that ancient wisdom that was supposedly lost is the science of today. Oh, I just looked at the clock. It says 11:11. Ooh, synchronicity. Yeah, that's the science of today that we're discussing in the Higher Self Expo, how science and spirituality meet. Those ancient mystics knew this, and the gurus have always known this. The sort of gurus of India and the enlightened ones have always understood that science and spirituality is one energy. Okay, we're coming up to the end here, but I want to ask you, Nicolas, how do you feel about being our new co-host for Down Under, for the Down Under time slot?
Very excited and really love, working with you, Karen, and also with Zane, and just engaging with people and sharing a good, positive message. And, it's a real honor, it's a real privilege, and we hope to really create the most extraordinary experience for all the listeners out there, to gain some wisdom, some insights, but also to connect and meet some wonderful new people. That's what it's all about.
Fabulous. Thanks so much. Hey, Zane, do you want to come back on?
Thank you.
Sure. Good thing I was ready.
You're still there, so I just pop you back on. I'm having so much fun playing with this new platform, you can tell.
Yes. I'm glad.
But thanks, Nick, for taking up the task. It's really great of you, because David, who I just adore, has work commitments at the time, so he couldn't do it. So Nicolas has stepped in. So thank you so much. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Go? Bye.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. Bye, everybody.
Thanks everyone. Ciao.
Bye.
See you soon.